Hello everyone, this is Joseph ProPatty. I'm going to be doing a playthrough, kind of a descriptive introductory on my game, Zombies All Around Us. This is a 9-card game that I'm entering into the 2018 9-card Nanogame PnP Design Contest that's running right now. The contest requirements are that you got to make a game or design a game that's out of 9 cards. You can only use a single sheet and create your poker size cards. 9 cards. So that's what I've done with this. This game is created out of 9 cards and uses 18 dice. So the requirements of the contest are, again, you can make your game out of 9 cards, up to 9 cards. You can use both sides of the cards, and you can use up to 18 components. And they can be any combination of dice, cubes, tokens, discs, those little plastic crystals, coins, but it's any mix of those types of components. And we've also added in paper clips, or those clips, as a new component for the 2018 contest. So, Zombies All Around Us. It's a cooperative 1 or 2 player game. It's similar to a tower defense style dice rolling game where you have a house that you've entered and your goal is to survive through the night, either 18 or 24 hours to the next day, or your help will come and rescue you. So you'll be going through an onslaught of different types of zombies, either regular zombies or super zombies. Zombies are represented by the green or red dice. I use 12mm dice. They work great with these cards. Now there's different levels of play. So there's beginning and advanced levels. And you'll see that the cards, double-sided, they each represent a room of the house. So you can have a 4-room house, or you can have a 6-room house. Obviously, the smaller the house, it's harder to defend. And the number of openings also can add to the complexity of the game. There's also different number of turns. You can have up to an 18-turn game or a 24-hour turn game. So let me explain a little bit about the cards. So here are your resource cards. This is your turn sequence card. It covers the number of turns, like I said. They're represented as hours, fictional hours in the game, but they're either 18 or 22 turns. The way this is structured is you have a dice, a white D4, and each turn is tracked. So this will be the first turn. When you go to the next turn, it's 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and then once you get to 6, the 6th hour, this is called a large zombie shift. So when you're on the turn and it shows a 6, that means zombies around the house will shift. A certain number of them, 1 to 3. Then you'll shift your dice, change it back to 1, and you'll go through another round of 6 turns. And then once it gets to 6 again, you'll have another zombie shift, and then again through this turn phase, and then the last one. If you can, basically the victory conditions, if both your characters can survive the night and not lose up to 2 rooms, you win the game. Losing conditions are if either one of you die, since it's a cooperative game. So if either character dies, either player, or you lose 2 rooms, you lose the game. So your other resource card is zombie placement and turn actions. So basically, you'll have these set out. You'll set this up, and we'll do 18 turns for a little quicker game. And we'll start at 1. Your zombie placement, this is going to show you the dice rolling that you'll need on where you're going to place your zombies. Each turn, they're basically spawned and they'll be attacking the house. So you'll run through this to decide where they're going to end up against the house. Your turn actions is kind of gives you a little reference list of what you can do during your turn or during each player's turn. You can move, kill a zombie, heal, build a weapon, strengthen, barricade. Very simple, not a lot they have to worry about. So let's talk about the room cards. So you'll see these cards either have a letter B or a letter A. A is for the advanced, B is for the beginner side. So what we do is you take all the B's, and for the beginner game you're going to make a 6-room house. Like this. And you'll know that your setup is correct as long as you have a grass border around the house. If it doesn't show this grass border, you've got one of the cards either turned the wrong way. Now, you can, again, change the complexity by making it a 4-bedroom house by removing the 2 middle rooms, right? And to make it tougher, you can change these cards, and you'll see that they have more openings. See, some have 2, the advanced has 3. But one of the restrictions is you cannot have more than 11 openings per your house. Okay, so you can mix and match these however you want, as long as you don't have more than 11. So if we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we've got our 11 entrances, whether they're windows or doors. And there's our beginning house setup. Now, I'll explain a little bit about what's on the card itself. The red X, that's where the zombies will be placed. That's the zombie dice. That's where they're trying to break in. These are entrances, either doors or windows. The yellow box is where you'll place your character if you're defending against zombies trying to break in through that area. The reason you have these two, you have a yellow box and then you have one right next to it as a no weapon. This will help you distinguish whether you've lost your weapon and you need to build a new one, but you're still able to defend. So if your character was here, you'd know, okay, I'm defending against these zombies, I have a weapon, so I can kill zombies. If I'm here, I'm still in the proximity of defending these zombies from coming in. I'm helping barricade or strengthening barricade this window, but I cannot kill. So it's just a little helpful reminder to you to know when you have a weapon or when you don't have a weapon. So that's what that no weapon box is. This build a weapon means during your turn, if you put it down here, means you can't strengthen anything, but you're rummaging through this room to find items to make a weapon. A knife, whatever. You're just grabbing things and breaking table legs off so you can use them to poke. But this lets you know that during that turn, this player is building a weapon, and it takes 2 actions. Now I'll explain actions and how many you have during the turn, but that's what that little space is for. Again, each entrance will have this little box where you put your die, your character, the player, to show that he's defending that area. And you'll see there's also rooms or doors that have access to the inner rooms. That means if this room is ever lost and the zombies break through, well, now you're going to be defending from the other side of the room. And it's the same process. You have a weapon or you don't have a weapon. So if zombies ever get in, that room is lost. And you can't lose more than 2 rooms or the game's over. So, another thing about the cards, you'll notice that they have numbers on them. That's used for when you're doing zombie placement. You know that when you decide on this entrance card is, or this entrance room is going to be one of the cards, you'll roll a d6. 1 to 3 means the zombie's going to go there. 4 to 6 means the zombie goes there. Same with all these, 1 to 3, 4 to 6, and this one, since there's only one, the zombie will be placed there. Now, so that explains everything with the cards. Movement. Let's talk about actions. So these are where you're placing, right? If your character or your player is just sitting in the middle, he's not really doing anything that turn. He could be left in the spot where he was last, but this just shows that he's in the room and he can make a decision. Again, movement is, for each turn, each player has 2 actions they can perform during their turn. If they want to move, it takes 1 action to move per room. So this could be 1 action, 2 action. But in a 3-room game, movement for 6 rooms is half. So if you have 2 actions, you could go, that's 1 action, and there's 1.5. But remember, you only have 2 actions per turn. So if you use 1.5 to get here, you have no other actions to do anything. So, but you could go 1 to get here, and then you're okay. You could still have another action to fight or whatever. So that's why when you have 2 players, you want to really be good about placement, because if you're 2 over here and something's breaking in on this side, you're going to have a pretty tough time getting over here to defend. You can get in the room with your 1, but if you need to get here, that's tough. He would have to do it. If he has to leave, I can make it really tough. So when it's a 6-room, movement is a half per action. If it's a 4-room house, it's 1 action for movement. Now, to kill a zombie, again, green are normal zombies, red are super zombies. This just takes a simple action to destroy 1 zombie, but you have to have a weapon to do that. To destroy a super zombie, you need both players to be next to it. One using an action to destroy, and the other one using this action. So it's basically 2 actions, 2 destructive actions in 1 shot to kill 1 super zombie. Okay, so remember that. You can't have this guy all by himself do 1 damage. You have to have them 2 to do 1 damage. So, but they're using a kill action each to kill 1 zombie. Heal. If you want to heal, you just take 2 turns, sit in the room, and you'll heal up. The 6 that shows on the player's dice, that's your health. When you take damage and you go down, you will change it on the dice. If you get down to 1, once you get down below 1, your character's dead and the game's over. Now you can heal by 2 actions and then get another point until you can get up to a max of 6. Cannot go beyond 6. So heal action, 2 actions for heal. Building a weapon. Again, if it's your turn, if he lost his weapon, you put yourself on build a weapon, and that turn, he now has a weapon. And the following turn, he can use it. Just remember, if you lose your weapon, whenever you're at a window or door, keep it on the no weapon, so you know. That will remind you anywhere you move this guy that he has lost his weapon. And it's always good that if you leave him and it's the other player's turn, don't move him in the middle. Always keep him on no weapon. It will always remind you he's lost his weapon. Now, strengthen a barricade. The way this works, it's 1 action. Whenever a zombie reaches a 6, these 6 zombies are ready to bust through that barricade. Now, the only way to prevent that is you better have somebody here to block that. And you can use a strength action on your turn to avoid taking any damage. You're keeping them from coming in, and you are strengthening the barricade so they're not hitting you. If you can only move here and get here, you will prevent them from coming in, but you will take a point of damage. The strengthening is basically to prevent getting damage from the zombies. So just remember that whenever these reach 6, they are ready to break in unless you can get someone here to stop it. If nobody can get there in time, they're in and you've lost this room. Now, to lose your weapon, whenever you attack by trying to do a kill zombie action, if let's say they're getting ready to break in and it's your turn, you roll, that kills one zombie. If you get a 6, you break your weapon and you lose it. You're gonna have to build another one. Remember, it's a broom handle, it's a, part of a stick. It's not really a gun or anything. So if you roll a 6 when you're rolling for an attack, you lose that weapon. Moving on to no weapon. You're gonna have to build another one. You won't be able to kill any zombies. So every time you do an attack, you gotta roll to see if you break your weapon. That's how you lose your weapon. And let's see, now we've gone through all your actions. Those really are it. There's movement, kill zombie, heal, build a weapon, or strengthen barricade. Those are all the things you can do during your turn. Now you have, again, there's 2 players, a yellow player and a blue player. You start off with 6 health. Let's talk about the phases. Zombies all around us is based on turns and phases. Again, in this game there'll be 18 turns, and per turn there are 3 phases. The first phase is zombie placement, is where you spawn zombies and they get placed around the house. The second phase is the player's turn, is where they get to perform their actions. The third phase is the zombie's turn, and that's where, if they're at 6 and you're here, that's where they're going to do damage. So during your turn, you're barricading, preventing damage. During their turn, if there's someone here, they're trying to break in, you're going to take damage. So they will always do a point of damage if they're at 6 and there's a person here trying to prevent them from coming in. Let's see. So that's the zombie's turn. Basically, their zombie's turn is just if they do damage to you. Let me tell you something a little bit about when zombies shift. This is zombie shift. When this gets to 6, I think I explained this a little bit before, but when it gets to 6 on that turn, you may have a number of zombies in different areas around the house. And you'll roll to see how many. It might be completely surrounded, so you'll roll. And 1 to 3 to 4 is 2 zombies. So 2 zombie dice will rotate, they'll shift. And the way this works is you'll start, and if there was 3 it'd be easy, you just start here and work clockwise. But if there were a number of them, you're just going to roll to see, same as how you would do placement. You'd roll to see which room it is, then you'd roll to see which one on that room, and then that one would shift. Shifting means it's going to either shift clockwise, or it's going to shift clockwise or counterclockwise. And the way you do it is just roll. 1 to 3 is counterclockwise, so that means it just shifted once. Then you would go to the next guy by rolling the room, and let's say it was this guy. If it ends up being the same guy, roll again. So let's say it's this guy, you do a shift again. 4 or 5, that's clockwise, so it moves here, and you move the entire group. Now here's the thing that gets a little tricky. If you are going to shift the zombie group and it shifts to here, you've already got zombies here. So what you're going to end up doing is transferring 1 to make this 6. This now becomes 4, and it shifts this way. Continue shifting clockwise. Same thing. If there was a group here, you would raise this to 6, have 1 left, and it shifts here. So this shifting can be really dangerous because it can cause groups to group into 6, which are now available to break in. So it can be very scary. So you got to be very careful with the script, and this happens 3 times during the game. That's called the zombie shift, and it's when this shows 6 on the turn phase. Now, the setup, this is going to be the general setup. You can put your characters or your players anywhere you want, in any rooms you want. The rest of the dice, before I go into the initial zombie placement, you have 11 green zombies, 2 of the super zombies, and then you have 1 yellow dice. And what this does is, if you draw this, because all these are going to go in this bag, if you draw the yellow dice, that means 2 zombies attacked. So you would keep this out, draw 2 zombies, place that, put this back in. So that's what happens when you draw the yellow zombie. So all these dice go in the bag or cup, and you'll be drawing these. Okay, so we've got our game set up, we're ready to play. This is your black action dice. This is what you roll whenever you're attacking or whenever you're placing things around. So we've got our characters on 6 health, we put them in the rooms that we want. We've got our turn marker on 1. Now we want to do phase 1, which is zombie placement. And the way that works is you use your zombie placement card, and you initially roll, well, first we draw our zombie. So draw 1, oh, super zombie. Okay, so first thing you do is roll this, 3 zombies. Then you roll placement. First you roll black die, 5. So since we have 6 rooms, it's easy. You start at the top left as 1 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 1 here, so that means that's what zombie goes. That zombie group, remember this represents 3 super zombies. If there had already been one there, and I want to explain this on placement. If I had a green set of zombies, right, and this is the path I picked. Super zombies and regular zombies can't be on the same group. So what happens is this takes the place, this gets shifted. And the same rules apply when shifting like you do during the turns. If there were zombies here, like 2, you would raise it to 6, right? And the rest would continue. So that's what happens when you have a super zombie. Now if it was the other way around, if there was a green group here, let's say there were 3, and we pulled green zombies out, and they were 1. If this was the room that was rolled for placement, you would take this 1, add it, you now have 4, that would go back in the bag. Like colored zombies add together, opposite colors shift. Now that, again, this also applies is if you had 3, right, and that was the space it was going to land on, this would go to 6, you'd have 1 remaining, and it would go here. So overflow shifts. Okay, and it should go in a clockwise. But you can, and the rules should be, if you have overflow, do your zombie shift clockwise or counterclockwise. And you roll 5, so that means this extra one would go here. So if that was a room, that was the extra, roll the shift, place it. And again, you could have some here that had a 6. You'd have to roll again to see where it shifts. So, so that's your zombie shift and when you're placing. So first one we have is this red zombie, and that goes here. I'm not going to play a full game, I'm just going to give a couple of turns so you can get an idea of how it's played. So we have 3 zombies here, and we know, okay, this isn't enough to break in. And you're kind of safe because you still need another zombie roll to get this above or to 6. So we now go to the player turn. Nobody starts with weapons, so the first thing that you guys are going to want to do is build weapons on your first turn. That takes 2 actions. Each player, and the way this works is you move this for the player's turn whose it is. So player blue, he decides to build a weapon. That's going to take up his 2 actions. Then you go to the yellow player's turn. The yellow player will decide to build a weapon. Those are 2 actions. That ends that turn. So now you raise this to 2. So you can see the number that will be for the next turn. Players' turns are over. The zombie turn would be if there's any attacks, if any zombies were at 6. There's no zombies at 6. So we go to the next turn. Draw a zombie and place it. Okay, so normal zombie. So we roll it, see how many there are. 5. Now we do zombie placement. We got 6, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we want to see which opening. 6, so 4 through 6, so that means 5 goes here. So that's what this zombie is. And luckily it's only at 5, but only needs 1 more for it to start breaking in. So you might want to get over here and whittle those numbers down. So that's zombie placement. We're on turn 2. So turn 2, we first go to blue player's turn. He now has a weapon, so whenever he moves into these spaces, it will be the yellow box. He's going to stay in this area and doesn't need to heal, so he'll stay here. Yellow will do a move, which is one action, or sorry, half an action. He still has 1.5 left to go. He is going to use 1 to destroy a zombie. Didn't roll a 6, so didn't break my weapon. And this drops down to 4. Remember, 1 action to kill. I can't do anything else with a half unless I want to move away, but I think I'll stay there just in case if I want to destroy, get them more. It's good to get your zombies down to 2 or 3 if you can. So that's the yellow player's turn. So we end that turn and we bring this to 3. And we start the next turn. Draw a zombie. Regular zombie. Let's see how many there are. 1. Then I do placement. 1. First card. Then we see which one of these. 2. 1, 2. Be right there. So that's where that zombie group is placed, that individual. Now we will do the player's turn. So blue starts. Oops. Blue turn first. Again, he's going to stay. He will move to this area just to get this equilibrium of these 2 players, because that way it'll only take 1 to get to here. And he'll stop, and the yellow player will take another kill. Since he didn't move, he has 2 actions. He could do 2 kills if he wants. There's 1, 2. So this knocks this down to 2. And didn't lose his weapon. Now, no zombies are at 6, so there's no attacks. And we'll go to the next turn. So the next turn is, and this, since this ended, this will be now 4. So we start another turn, turn 4. Ah, yellow one. That means 2 zombies attack. So you draw 2. Then you put it back in the bag. So now we got to place 2. And you'll notice that you want to kill zombies and get them back in the bag, because that gives more chances to get regular zombies than it does to get a yellow or red. So something to think about. So let's roll how many? Ooh, that one has 6. Not good. Oh, this isn't good. So they both have 6. So we need to place these. And we're going to have to get to them fast. So we decide the room. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can't go here because there's already superhumans and it won't push super zombies away. So we're going to roll the shift. And 1, 2. That means counterclockwise. So one of them goes here, which is good, it's close. Then we will do, and these guys are going to break in if we don't stop them. Then we have the next group. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't go here, so we'll have to shift. 3 means counterclockwise. There's already 6 there. So we're going this way, shift. And we'll shift again. Whew. So this is going to be a tough one. So with placement, if any of them are at 6, you have to get someone in front of here, at least during your turn. So, blue player's turn, takes a half to get here. He has a weapon. Now, if he doesn't want to take any damage, he will have to use an action to strengthen. It's important. So, if he doesn't mind taking damage, he can use 2 actions and try and kill 2 of these. But all he has to do is at least kill 1 to keep it from coming in, keep that group from coming in. So the first action he's going to do, that was a half. So he can only do an action of, and there's no, once you're in the room, it doesn't cost him more action to move. So he can't really strengthen. He has to try and kill one of these. Oh man. So he kills it, but destroys his weapon. Alright. Now, this stops him from coming in. He wasn't able to use an action of strengthen, so he's going to take a damage. And that is a blue player's turn. Now, the yellow person's got to get over here. He's got to be able to defend this. So, they'll use a half and 1. He has his weapon. So he's used one action. He will not be able to strengthen. He could, but it's better to try and get this down to 5 so they're not trying to get in. Because as long as this stays at 6, it will constantly be trying to get in. So he again will also try and use an action to kill. And he didn't lose his weapon. So he stays here, knocks this down to 5. But since he wasn't able to strengthen, he will take a point of damage. But at least both of them have stopped. They've come here, secured that barricade, didn't strengthen, just secured it, so at least they didn't pop through, and they were able to kill one each. So they kind of kept them at bay. And that was the end of the yellow person's turn. So that goes to 5. Now, the zombie's turn, there's none of them at 6, so, and remember, even though this is at no weapon, he's still in front of that window. So if these were at 6, both of these guys would take another point of damage. They're not at 6, so that means everything's okay. No damage on the zombie turn. Now we start a new turn. This is at 5. Again, we're going to draw another zombie. See how many it is. 5. Let's see where it goes. 1, 2, 3. Right here. Alright. Players' turns. Blue first. Okay. Now, he doesn't have a weapon. Nobody's coming in right now, but they're all at 5. It's not good. But he needs a weapon, so he's going to spend his turn building a weapon. Yellow's player's turn. He is going to, let's see, he has 2 actions he can perform. I think what he'll do, he will try and kill one of these. Right, knocks that down to 4. And then he will, since it doesn't cost to move in here because you're in the room, he will also try and kill that one. 2. Knocks that down to 4. Much better. Okay. And that is his turn. Now this goes to 6. Next turn, they're going to get a zombie shift. So, first, we'll do zombie placement. Draw a zombie. Alright, regular zombie. See how many there are. There's 2. We'll place it. 1, 2, 3. 4, 6. So it goes right here. Now, this is turn 6, so we have a zombie shift. Now again, to see how the shift is, you're going to roll to see how many of these go. Ooh, luckily. So only one zombie die will shift. Now we'll see which one it is. You do it based on room. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll see which one of these 2. 1 and 2. So this one's going to shift. Now we're going to shift either clockwise or counterclockwise. 2. That's counterclockwise, so it's going to be going this way. Now, these 2 add together, which makes 6. This guy goes back in the bag. So now we've got a group that's 6 that can break in, but no longer is there a group going into this one. That is the zombie shift. So now we're going to start the player's turn. Player blue first, and now that he has a weapon, he's going to do 2 attacks on this guy. This one brings it to 3. And down to 2. Perfect. And now we'll do the yellow player's turn. It's a half a move to here, so he has 1 action he can do. He's not going to be able to strengthen this turn but he can do an attack. Good, didn't lose his weapon. So we'll do 5. So no longer breaking in. But since he didn't strengthen, that's a point of damage. Probably want to start healing if you get down to 3, but we'll see what's going on. So he only has a half to move. He could move, but these guys are going to be kind of scary. He's going to want to weed those down. So right now we'll end the yellow player's turn, and this shifts to 1, and we're on the next phase of turns. So what do we do first thing? Draw a zombie. Alright, see how many zombies it is. 4. We're going to place it. 1. See which one it goes to. And it goes here. 4. Alright. And we'll do the blue player's turn. If he could get rid of these 2 guys, it would clear this room up. So he's going to do 2 attacks. 1 down. Hopefully, won't lose a weapon. Good. This guy's gone. Goes back in the bag. And this room is safe so far. Yellow person's turn, or yellow player's turn.